I got a gut feeling on Washington, and they have what USC had years ago when they had Matt Leinart. They have this. They're rolling right now. They're rolling. I know Michigan hasn't lost either. I'm glad there's 2 undefeated teams in the final. The number 1 and 2 teams are playing. But I took them straight up money line, $1,000, because that was the best odds to win the most money. I just think they're playing at an all-time high. I think Washington's wideouts are too good for Michigan's corners, and I don't think Michigan has any wideouts to threaten Washington's corners. Corners and wideouts are the strength of Washington's team. Now, if Michigan just says, hey, we're going to shove it straight down your throat, and we're going to run it right down your throat like they did a little bit on Alabama, so be it. I just don't know if they can sustain that with average quarterback play with McCarthy. McCarthy has to play really, really good, in my opinion, to beat this Washington team who just seems to be on a roll. So that's just my take on the bet. But I did pick Michigan with you. I want Michigan to win. I do want them to win. I did not think they'd be playing Washington in the final. And I'm my gut, I'm a West Coaster, Michelle. I got to see the Pac-12 go out on a high note for the last time ever. And now you got 2 of the same conference teams playing, really.
I know. 2 Big Ten teams. Look at that.
That's crazy.
No,
all right, Michelle, what's your New Year's resolution? Did you make one?
Yes. Yep. I'm going to try my very best to engage less with toxic people on the internet.
Ooh.
Just
mine is actually engage more with toxic people.
Okay.
I want to cuss more people out this year.
Good for you.
More.
But I'm gonna die. I'm gonna try to lose. I'm gonna try to lose 30 pounds by May.
Wow, that's aggressive.
Very aggressive, Michelle.
And then 20 more by July.
Hold on, so
hot girl summer, huh?
50 pounds. I'm gonna lose 50.
JB gonna have them legs out this summer, ain't he, Michelle?
50 pounds, Michelle. I think we should both lose 50.
I don't think I have 50 to lose.
Right. I'm about to say Michelle can't lose 50. I can lose 50 with you.
No, you lose 50, Michelle. What do you weigh? 80?
She's like,
hey,
I'm
Michelle,
done.
I gotta ask you right out the gate. We're gonna do a hell yeah, hell no segment with you. And hell yeah or hell no, Jim Harbaugh will be a Wolverine next year. Hell yeah, hell no.
Hell yeah.
Ooh. You didn't sound that confident though, Michelle. Can you dive in a little bit more? Tell me why you're saying hell yeah. Are you speaking with your heart or with your mind?
I'm speaking with my hope. Neither head nor heart. Hope, I think. I'm not confident about it. I really think the NCAA is going to put a lot of pressure on him to look elsewhere. But the amount of money they're talking about throwing at him and the connection that he feels with his team. Honestly, I've said this before. I think he and JJ McCarthy are a package deal. They really are connected. And I think if JJ doesn't have the performance that he's hoping for in the national title game, his draft stock's not going to be what he probably wants it to be. There's a good chance JJ comes back. And if JJ comes back, I think that improves the chances that Jim comes back. But, those are a lot of contingencies.
I got news for you. I'm sorry to break this to you live. JJ McCarthy will never play in the NFL. Just sorry. I just want to throw that out there. So Jim Harbaugh is leaving. He's going to be the Chargers.
All right.
I'm telling you right now, he's going to be the Chargers head coach, and he's going to have Justin Herbert. And let's just be honest. Do you take Herbert or McCarthy? So that's where he's going, Michelle. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Are you mad at me?
Michelle, I'm cut your ass
okay. All right, Michelle. Perfect segue. You and I'm messing with you on the JJ thing, but I don't think he's an NFL guy long term. I think he'll play, though. He'll get a shot. I don't know if he's a guy that's going to be a starter in the league for several years, but I don't know if Brian Case is the biggest Michigan fan there is. He's in the chat. I don't know if that's going to sway Harbaugh. I think Harbaugh's over the NCAA, which is the non-carrying assholes of America, and having this consistent, poking at every move he makes. And I'm like, I think he goes back to the NFL and chases that Super Bowl. I don't know, but to kind of go on what you were saying, What legalities does Michigan face next season? Are there still opportunities to file motions or hit them with a loss of scholarships or bowl ban or anything like that? I know there was
everything is kind of the irony is that it may not actually hit next year, right? We saw the NCAA just now issue its findings on something that happened in 2020 that was much smaller in scale than what Connor Stallions did. If Jim really wanted to dip to avoid penalties for the sign stealing, the year to do that would probably be 2025, not 2024. I do not think the NCAA is going to conclude its investigation before the end of 2024. So I think if Jim wanted to have one more season with this team, he probably could. But I don't know. I don't know if he cares to go through that process, because the investigation, regardless of whether or not they're imposing any penalties, is still going to take a ton of time, a ton of resources, a ton of energy. It's going to cause a ton of distraction regardless. So I don't think they're going to get hit with anything yet. They will get hit with something eventually. I just don't think it's going to be 2024.
Got you. Now that makes sense. I mean, it's interesting, and I'm sure that has to be in the back of the mind of Harbaugh as he's considering what he does or what he wants to do in the offseason, things of that nature. For sure. Let me switch gears a little bit here, man. Obviously we both follow you on Twitter. You're a huge. You're great at your reactions when Michigan wins and things like that. Tell me, like, when the clock struck zero or when Bama made that stop, right there in the red zone, and you knew the game was over. Describe your initial reaction, your initial emotions. Like, how did you feel?
Excited, overwhelmed, relieved, a little bit shocked. But honestly, going into the Bama game, I had a different kind of peace, right? I was super nervous going into the Ohio State game. And for some reason, I just had kind of a calm about this Bama team. I can't explain it. But I expected them to win the whole game just because of how the defense played. And the defense and Blake Corum, right? Saved us in the end. Right. Classic Michigan victory in that sense. But I was overwhelmed. And, there was just like so much hate thrown at this team. And a lot of people will say that was self-inflicted. Say what you will. It still was a really hard year to be a Michigan fan, if I may.
Yeah. And I think you put out, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, you put out an apology.
I did.
Was it to Bama fan? Can you explain? So what exactly did you say? You can keep it real. What did you say to the Bama fan? Why did you apologize? Apologize for what?
I said Alabama could fuck all the way off.
You had a little JB in you right there for that moment.
Yeah. And
I love it. I love it. It is what it is. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I just think that he has to play out his mind to win the net. I think Washington's just rolling like that, which is crazy to say because Michigan has the most draftable players. I've said they have the best roster of football in college football, and I think that sometimes it's hard to stop momentum, and Washington is just rolling right now on all phases. And
but Jimmy, they're both rolling though. That's why this game's gonna be great. Michigan is rolling. Neither team has lost. Like,
I just don't like Michigan's offense late in the game. Like, I think they they Washington's strengths and Michigan's weaknesses is not a good match. Like, Bama's strengths and Michigan's weaknesses it was but more of an even kill. Washington is a slang the rock all over the park. Milroe wasn't beating Michigan with his arm.
Right. No. And Michigan knew that. I mean, it was very clear that Michigan did not respect Alabama's ability to pass. Yeah. They focused on the run, and they were really effective at containing it. I don't think Michigan's corners have been tested this year, and that's what makes me nervous, right? They're elite. Like, we've seen them shut it down. I think Michigan has the second fewest passing yards allowed of any team right now in college football. Statistically, they match up well. We just haven't seen that tested. We've seen it tested against like Penn State, right? Drew Aller is not Michael Penix Jr. Kyle McCord is not Michael Penix Jr. We just haven't seen truly what those corners can do. Now, they have been good. They have quite a few interceptions, which gives me confidence. I think there's a chance that one or two of those deep balls do get picked off, and that could change the momentum of the game. And I think if we can limit possessions and control the pace of play, because I have a high degree of confidence we're going to be able to run on Washington. I don't think Texas ran enough on Washington. I think Michigan really can. They're a strong running team. I think Blake Corum looked his best against Alabama. We saw Quinn Ewers run on Washington, which was surprising, right? I think JJ McCarthy is, say what you will about his arm, but he is at least as mobile as Quinn Ewers, if not more.
He's more, yeah.
And I think JJ can, with a few designed runs, like pick up some key yardage here and there. I just think the key for Michigan is really going to be to slow the pace of play, not let Washington play its game of that high tempo. If we can get a few stops, honestly, one or two picks here or there are going to make a huge difference in shifting the momentum. And I think our guys have the athleticism to do it. They just haven't been tested yet. They've been tested, like they had a bunch of picks, like 2 pick sixes against Minnesota.
Right.
Right. It's not Washington. But what can they do, right? And I think that still just remains an open question. We can't write them off and say they're incapable of doing it just because they haven't done it yet. But we haven't also seen them fail to do it.
That's real, man. That's real. And I think a key component to the game will be how they play up front, meaning the defensive line. I think the defensive line can get pressure on Penix, force them to, to get uncomfortable, get some early sacks that makes them pat the ball, a few extra times that he wants to, or force the ball out into traffic. I think that will truly dictate the game. I don't care how great of a quarterback you are. When you got D linemen in your face and hitting you all game long, a lot of times that will change the momentum of the game. So I'm expecting a really good game. I'm going with Michigan. I kind of feel like that it's just like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's destiny. Just everyone's against them. They want to suspend Harbaugh for double cheeseburgers and large fries. And it's like, it's all types of stuff is going on. I just feel like it's Michigan's year. Everyone has their back. And it's kind of like this is the way to just finish the season off, So that's what I'm going with.
I get the same feeling for Washington, though. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think they got a better quarterback, and I'm going to go with the better quarterback. That's just kind of what it comes down to. Sometimes you got to go with the quarterback. But listen, I'm not going to be upset either way. Like I said, I would love to see the redemption season be the end it with a finale of winning the title. Michelle, where did you spend New Year's?
I spent New Year's in mountains.
What?
Yeah.
So where are you watching this game from Monday? I gotta know. Is it gonna be from a bar, a couch, a bed, a plane, or a car?
Yeah, 5 options.
So
I don't know. You might be in the plane. You might be in the car.
No. So I was at my friend's house, who's also a Michigan fan here in Colorado. We've gone to a few Michigan games together. I just don't know if I'm welcome back after I behaved. So I have to talk with my friend Lisa and see if I could still go back there for Monday.
What did you do?
What did you do? Did you throw up on the floor?
No. I just was so excited. There were some profanities. It was nothing that bad. I don't think. I just need to confirm that I'm welcome back at Lisa's house. And if I am, that's where I'll be. And if not, I'll probably just go to a Michigan bar in Denver. There's a great bar here called Whiskey Row. It's Dirk Bentley Place. Tons of Michigan fans. So I'm happy to go there. That's where I watched the Penn State game.
I've seen you quite loaded on Twitter. And now you have an Instagram.
Yeah, I do. It's private. You have to request to be added, but I add anyone unless it's a coworker.
Good. That's good. Probably smart.
Are we considered coworkers or not yet?
Still in on the payroll. We're not.
Hey, yeah, you can't. Yeah, yeah. So you're gonna go to a bar by yourself?
No, probably not. Probably with friends. Probably my husband, my brother. We'll see. I really would like to go back to Lisa's house, but we'll just have to ask her.
Should we call Lisa on speaker? Is there any way? I feel like the Michelle we get on here is like the real, like, I thought it's a whole nother Michelle. Like when you're watching Michigan, it's like Michelle 3.0 or whatever. It's like a whole nother world.
Yeah, I'll let you go.
So final score prediction.
35-27, Michigan.
Wow, you think, yeah, they're going to, I believe there will be some scoring. I don't think Washington's defense is not great, but their corners are. So
that's not Michigan's strength, though. I mean, I would be worried if Washington had a terrific run defense because they would shut down what Michigan does best. But the fact that Michigan can't play an air game doesn't scare me because I think Michigan's best shot to win this is keeping the game slow.
Yep, run the ball, time of possession. Makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun. Two different dynamics. So I'm curious to see this one. It might be one of the more interesting ones. The playoffs so far, the two games we got to see have been some of the best football we've seen all year. That's what scares me, Michelle. And I got to ask you before you leave, like, I'm scared to go to 12-team playoff. I think you're going to lose that type of contest. You're going to have a Oregon Liberty first round. You're going to have a Georgia Florida State first round. Not those two teams, but I'm just saying you're going to have that's what you're going to get. And it's like, well, why? So why not just go 64-team playoff like basketball at this point? Because the bowl games are meaningless. I hate to say that word. We argue that on this show all the time. But really they are. The viewership's down. Nobody's going to the game. The players aren't playing in the games. The NCAA has a real issue at hand, and I don't know how you fix it. I'm going to talk to Derek Anderson, a former NFL quarterback, next up on the segment. But I just got to add, I just don't know. I think 12 waters it down even more. I want to see two great games and then a great national title game Monday, which I think we're on course to seeing. I don't know if we're going to see that with 12.
Right. I don't know. I mean, obviously, with a playoff situation, you're going to get fewer opt-outs. You're going to get, I think, maybe
we hope.
We hope, right? I don't know. There was talk of Caleb Williams opting out during the regular season.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. And like as the money grows, I don't know. I mean, does it change if we start paying players? Does it change if the NCAA evolves to that? Maybe. But the Oregon Liberty game, God, we all deserved better than that, right?
Yeah.
Even the Ohio State Missouri game, like that would have been a playoff game. And how does the transfer portal influence that, right? Because if guys start transferring before playoff games, forget opt-outs, like that's another dynamic where you just don't have teams at full strength. Maybe you do. Maybe you have to adjust the transfer portal window if you go to a playoff. But yeah, there were a lot of really bad bowl games. And even if they're slightly more elevated in playoff context, does it give us enough good football to justify the departure? I don't know. Although in the past, I mean, the playoffs haven't been great either.
Remember, though, we're waiting a month to watch a horrible-ass game. Like, I'd rather just do it a week after the last season. And that'll open up allow the portal to coincide with educational institutions' transfer portal, like as far as when they can take a player in and enroll them for academics, because that's what they have to do. That's what the portal timing is right now, because the school semesters aren't changing for anybody. They're not going to change the timing of enrollment at institutions for football players or for NCAA college athletics to transfer. So the portal is going to have to change, not the college institution. They're not going to change the enrollment times at Colorado. They're not going to do it because financial aid, there's too much Title IX, there's too many other things that involve that. But the month off to see Georgia get beat by or win by 60 is got to be the biggest slap in the face to the fans and to the NCAA. And I think they have an issue, and they better get a commissioner in there. And my number one suggestion, you got to get a commissioner at the football level. There's no commissioner in college football, which makes no sense when you're making billions of dollars and there's not a commissioner involved. I just think it's headed towards even being worse.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with the last statement as far as, you know, getting a commissioner and also starting it a little earlier instead of getting that month off. But I disagree with you guys in the sense that I actually think the competition in those bowl games, the teams that make the playoffs will be increased. I believe that majority of the players that matter will suit up and play because they'll have the opportunity to win a natty. So even if I'm the 10th seed, 8th seed, whatever, so if Georgia plays Florida State's players are going to actually play, and we'll see a better game. I'm not saying they'll win, but it won't be that type of blowout. That's my opinion. I just think if I'm just like the 4 teams right now, they're all playing. Why? Because they have a chance to win a natty. So if it's 12 teams, why wouldn't I play?
All right.
There's only 4 though. Remember.
But I'm saying, but the concept is the same. The reason why the players right now, Washington and Michigan, why they're suiting up is because they have the opportunity to make history. So if I'm in the playoffs, I have that same opportunity. Why would I sit out? Why would I leave?
Here's why it's not the same, Michelle, to me. Liberty, let's say they would have been in. They probably would have been the 12th seed. Anyone that represents any player at Liberty that has a real chance to go to the NFL are in their ear. Boy, you ain't got no goddamn chance to win no natty at Liberty. Get out of this thing and go in, get ready for the NFL. That is what they're going to tell a guy at Liberty, and that's exactly what they're doing right now when they're not going to a playoff. So
why are we using that one team as an example?
So
I'm just saying those are the teams that are going to be in, though. There's going to be 4 of those teams in there.
Florida State was penalized for having its best player out because of injury. But if part of the committee's criteria is what the team looks like at its best or what the team looks like at its floor or not at its best, can we make a playoff spot contingent upon commitments that there will not be opt-outs? I mean, we saw Florida State, like I said, get penalized for not having its full team. And so you can tell a team, you get this playoff spot, but if your kids opt out, and let me tell you, if there may be guys chirping in your ear saying, go take your bag, don't worry about this playoff game. But if your whole team loses out on a playoff because your ass wants to go to the NFL, that's going to be a different level of pressure. And who's to say, right? The committee can do whatever it wants. They've already penalized teams for not being at full strength. Who's to say they can't make those playoff spots contingent upon the roster being intact?